Oh, how are you all this evening? Welcome to American Revival. I know I haven't been here for a little while. We've been busy as can be and been dealing with the stuff over on the main channel. I shouldn't say that because you're a main channel too here. But I've been dealing with stuff on the preparedness channel, and I've been getting pretty upset about things over there. And I just announced that I'm probably going to be changing the name of that channel because I'm just getting sick of all the negativity, right? And it's the wrong kind of negativity. It's just the kind that's trying to scare people instead of trying to educate them. So, anyway, that kind of made me think I need to come back here. You know what I'm drinking tonight? Where is it? Oh, I took the bag back. I am drinking, as some of you may know, if you follow me on the Integrative Preparedness, soon to be renamed channel, I always drank Folgers Instant, but recently I have branched out into Attack Coffee, as a coffee made here in Kansas City, and then I've been drinking what was it? It's a good one, but I don't know. This one is Jim Beam Bourbon and Vanilla. Man, it's good. Some of you know that I've been looking at putting together a Stonemont coffee, and so now I'm delving out into the world of coffee and seeing what I like. But anyway, it's good to see you all again here, and I do want to talk about the politics. We are in the middle of an American revival, I believe, and that could very possibly mean an internal civil war. It'll be the first civil war that we've ever had here in this country. Did you know that? A lot of people don't know that because whenever I say that, people will come on and say, "We already had one. Don't you know that? I learned all about it in school." And I said, "Well, what you learned about in school wasn't a civil war, because a civil war is when two groups or more are fighting for control of the same government. And back during that war in the 1860s, the South just wanted to be left alone. They didn't want control of the American government. They wanted nothing to do with the Union or the United States of America. They seceded and created, as independent states, created their own new confederation called the Confederate States of America. It was not a civil war. I am sorry that your history teachers told you that it was. You should go back and demand your money back. But this one could be a civil war. You've seen it. The reason, and I kind of talked about this before the election, there was never going to be a civil war of whatever form it might take. And I don't think it's going to be a matter of getting out there in the fields and the woods and everything. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be, I don't know, keying each other's cars. No, we wouldn't do that. Our side wouldn't do that because you know why? Because we were raised right. We're polite. We're nice. We're law abiding. It takes a lot to get us going, doesn't it? It really does. We put up with a lot, which is proven by what we've allowed. We allowed that phony Biden to be president, right? And then Kamala Harris. And we allowed so much that glares in my eyes. I need to learn how to. I think they probably make an anti-glare screen, right? I ought to look into that. Or maybe I can point that screen somewhere else. Well, anyway, it'll just make it look like I have a glare in my left eye till I get that figured out, okay? But I suspected that after Trump's win, and man, he's been going at it, hadn't he? Do you agree with everything he's done? I have to say right off, I pretty much do. I pretty much do. Now, the things that people are upset about, we're going to take Greenland. And, when he says things like, we're going to take Greenland even if we have to use force, he doesn't mean that. I mean, you got to know the guy, right? You have to know the guy. He is bombastic. He is hyperbolic. He is every other word, multisyllabic word that could describe explosive. He's a magician. He's a look over here while I'm doing this over there. All sorts of things. But man, he's been taking it to him, hadn't he? He and Musk. And of course, that's generated hate. And we know how the other half is, how the other side is. They're a bunch of commies. They never really created anything, right? I mean, what have they created that's worth a darn? The only thing they've created is new jobs for cops, right? They've created a big mess. And if you look at that side, now I have to be very careful here because I have friends of mine who are lawyers. Yes, I know. I was going to be a lawyer at one time until I came to my senses. But you look at our side, and what do we have? We have professional people, right? And by that I mean and I should say right now, I'm not a Republican. I was raised a Democrat, and when I saw that Jimmy Carter was lying to people, I said, well, okay, and I get it now. I'm no longer a Democrat. But if the Republicans ever had that majority that the Democrats have had, I wonder if they do the same thing. So I have a couple of times registered as a Republican just so I could vote in a primary, but I don't consider myself a Republican. I'm an independent. But I've never voted for a Democrat, I'll say that. If you look at, let's say, the Republican side, okay, what do you have? I mean, from the president on down, president, Congress, whatever, you have a bunch of professionals. You have business people, right? Now you've got some lawyers sprinkled in there. Many of the lawyers went on to run companies. You have a lot of business people and doctors, right? What's the difference there? These are people who actually have had to perform at a certain level and a very high level. What do you have on the other side? Lawyers and community organizers, right? I mean, look at them. How can AOC be the leading contender for Democrats in 2028? I mean, how? And then you've got the rest of the squad, and you've got Crockett. You talk about well, should I say? Can I say? I can't. I better not say that. You talk about strange, right? You talk about different. You talk about a major disappointment. How could somebody like that be in the United States Congress? Well, I guess they need somebody to replace Maxine Waters with, right, when she finally leaves. And that's the difference between those parts. But anyway, I went off on a tangent there. We're going to talk about some things in the news here, and so that's where I'm with. I pretty much like everything that Trump's doing, and I don't care if some people come on and say, "Well, I think one." One of the things that I get the biggest kick out of is when people come on and say, well, I like him, but I just can't help but think that he's what he's doing is just something so to kind of sneaky to do something bad, Or if they'll say, well, he didn't do this one particular thing immediately, so I don't like him anymore. Those people are the problem. Okay, what do we got here? Randy Fine won his election down in Florida, 6th district in Florida. Good. That helped. And now we're waiting to see what happens with that judge Supreme Court race up in Wisconsin. I'm going to get off of here and go watch the news and find out about that pretty soon. Speaker Johnson shut down the House for a week after a squabble over remote voting. You know what that is? That is, well, let me flip to the story here and I'll tell you. Okay, so it was something brought up by Speaker Mike Johnson. This was from Breitbart. Canceled the week's remaining votes Tuesday after a rare procedural vote defeats a resolution by Representative Anna Paulina Luna, who I usually like. I do. I think she's an up and comer. Canceled the. So the resolution was by her to allow new parents to vote by proxy without traveling to Washington triggered the fight. Luna, who gave birth to a child last year, has crusaded to return Speaker Nancy Pelosi's pandemic-era practice of proxy voting, but limited to parents. What a disappointment. I mean, that's something a Democrat would do. Okay, here again, and somebody that I usually like, she's saying, because she's a woman and because of her child situation, she should be exempt from the same expectations of everyone else. Now, that is one of the problems that started back in Women's Lib when they wanted to give special consideration to women for their kids. Now, I love kids. I love my kids. I love your kids. Kids ought to be taken care of. Kids ought to be taken care of at home. But you know what? How do I say this without offending people? I don't care. If mom can't do her job and still take care of her kids, mom doesn't need that job. Got to make a choice there, Anna Paulina. Got to make a choice. And nobody should make those kinds of just because you're a mother. Would that, I guess if it was a Democrat, would it also be a man who could be a mother? I don't know. Well, of course, Johnson argued it is unconstitutional. The Constitution requires that a quorum, defined as a majority of House members, be present on the House floor while transacting business, and that puts an expectation on each one of the Congress people. Okay? If you want to go to Congress, get your personal life straightened out. Okay? I have no idea whether Congresswoman Luna is married. I hope she is. Gracious. I mean, being a Republican, I hope she is. If she was a Democrat, who would know who she would be married to, right? But you know, do you have a husband? Do you have a mother? Do you have a? Can you take the baby on the trip to Washington? I mean, we took trips all the time when we had 3 kids. Why can't you do that? Come on. Tomorrow's Liberation Day, April 2nd. Liberation Day, where you know why it's liberating, because we are liberating ourselves from all the unfair deals that our government in their naivete and ignorance has allowed us to be a part of. You know, the whole world's been taking advantage of us, the United States. I know, I saw, by the way, hello to everybody in Europe and wherever, all the ships at sea. I just got a notice from YouTube that my videos can now be heard in all sorts of languages. I don't remember what they were. French, German, I do remember Hindi and Indonesian. And I'm trying to figure out on the channel settings how to make that work on, because I'd love to see me speaking in Hindi or Indonesian. So anyway, all you people in Europe who may be, both of you who may be watching, yeah, I mean, y'all were smarter. Your leaders were smarter than us. Our people rolled over. But as a result, we haven't, I won't say y'all been taking advantage of us. We were stupid. We went along with the deal. I don't blame somebody for taking advantage of somebody who's being stupid. It's like buying a car. But anyway, we were stupid, but not stupid anymore under President Trump, because he's smart, right? He's a businessman. And so now he says, well, where we have been paying, where other countries have been tariffing our goods and our goods coming into their countries at exorbitant rates, we're going to match them. I don't remember the numbers. Numbers don't matter, but just say that some unnamed European country or Asian country or whatever, African, I don't know that Africa has anything that we want, but did I just say that? Yeah, I did. But we're not going to play the uneven field anymore. Okay. So like I was saying, just because, imagine some unnamed country somewhere wants to charge us 100% tariff on something, and we only charge them 10% on their stuff. Well, it doesn't make them bad, makes them smarter than us. But we got smart. And so Liberation Day is the day that we match everybody's tariffs. What could be more fair than that, right? Oh, kind of like all the European countries paying their share for NATO and our defense. We've been over there defending their butts since World War II. Well, World War I. So definitely since World War II, right? Oh, yeah. I mean, they like to talk loud and big, but who goes over there and saves their butts all the time, right? And then we continue to leave a bunch of our guys over there and spend billions of dollars supporting the European countries' economies through our service members and our bases and everything else. Well, they love to talk badly about us and act like they're so superior to us, right? No more, mon ami. So tomorrow's Liberation Day, and we will see what happens with that. And Trump says he claims that India is going to drop their tariffs substantially. I wouldn't doubt that a bit. Have you noticed that Trump will come out and say something? Canada will do this, Canada, Mexico, or something like that, and Mexico will, or Canada will say, "We're not doing. You don't tell us what to do, right?" And so it gives all of the legacy media here in the United States. Then they say, "Yeah, Canada showed Trump, right?" And then the next day, Canada or Mexico or whoever comes back and says, "Well, yeah, we will do that. We didn't really mean that we wouldn't do that. We'll do it. You bet. We're your friend because you're our protector." Here's a good one. Let's go. Oh yeah, well, man arrested for tossing nails and screws in driveways of Trump supporters. You see, that's low-level civil war, but it's civil war. I'll get back to that if I think about it by the end. Keying Teslas. I mean, really, who's that hurting? The insurance companies, maybe. Now here's a guy who's just, if he is not this, who is Mistel, Ellie Mistel. I guess he's a guy. He looks like a woman. He or she or they or whoever, a justice correspondent at The Nation, said Tuesday on ABC's The View that every law passed before the Voting Rights Act of 1965 should be presumptively unconstitutional because what do I care about laws passed by some old white guys? Oh man, of course, Sonny Austin says, "Yeah, I'm with you, Ellie," or whatever their name is. Colorado bill. Any of y'all live in Colorado? Beautiful state, but man, it's like California, full of strangeness. Colorado bill would classify misgendering or dead naming. You know what dead naming is, right? Dead naming is like if you are a guy and your name was Bobby. Well, that could go both ways, couldn't it? Your name was Robert. And you decide you want to be a girl. And the teacher, employer, whatever, and you've changed your name to Roberta, and your employer or teacher, whatever, accidentally calls you Robert, that's dead naming. That was your old self is dead. That's Robert's dead because Roberta lives. Right? Oh, so it's going to be considered child abuse. That's right, child abuse. Doge saves $420 million by canceling 109 wasteful contracts. Well, there's a lot more than that. I mean, they're already in the billions, right? Oh yeah, that guy. Who was the guy, the Democrat that wants the return of all the MS-13 and Tren de Aragua gang members back to the United States? How do you defend that? How do you promote that position? I don't know. Okay, that's enough funniness there. Let me go to something else here that I wanted to talk about. Let's see, what do we get this? Oh yeah, have you heard about car trailing? Okay, this is great. This is by Roy Spencer, PhD. He's a climatologist, author, former NASA scientist. Let me just read a little bit about the car trails. Geoengineering and mind control conspiracy everyone is ignoring. Are you ignoring it? While some among us continue to be distracted by supposed chemtrails, do you think they're supposed? High in the atmosphere, lurking right under our noses, has been the ultimate conspiracy: car trails. Modern cars are programmed to emit car trails containing nefarious and noxious chemicals. As many people can attest, breathing problems become worse in cities where these vehicles emitting deadly vapor trails are most concentrated. You ever been in an underground garage when everybody's trying to leave? This never happened many years ago. It never happened back in the 1800s, right? And he knows that because he heard from his great-great-grandfather who lived in the 1800s, and his grandfather said, no, we never had car trails. So what kind of chemtrails chemicals are they poisoning with? Well, many years ago it was lead in gasoline, but we found out about that conspiracy, which was meant to destroy the nervous systems of our children. So what was lead replaced with? Listen up, mi amigos. That's an interesting story. My confidential whistleblower, who must remain nameless for fear of retribution, tells me that the government people got together with the car manufacturing people and the petroleum refining people, and they found a new way to poison us: platinum, palladium, and rhodium microparticles inside superheated boxes, innocuously called catalytic converters. Whoa. Well, I'm lucked out because somebody stole my catalytic converter when I had, not all of mine, but off my excursion, and when it was sitting out at the mechanics lot, and he just straight piped it for me. So it sounds cool, and I'm not getting any car trails out of it. Okay, what's next? They're still trying to get you to buy gold. Okay, that'll never stop. Putin orders the largest military conscription since 2011 as Ukraine peace talks stall. You know who wants that war to continue, right? Well, let me get back for just a moment. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Let me get back for just a moment. Shut that off. And talk about the Civil War. What do you think? What do you think about it? Are you ready for it? What form do you think it will take? I know that there's already a civil war, so you do too. There's already a civil war going on within our government. The FBI and the CIA, which are just laced with a bunch of lefties. Most people didn't know that. I warned people about the FBI for 30, 40 years. Would anybody listen to me? Nah, not until they started seeing it on the news, and now they know. Well, I'll tell you, the CIA is twice as bad. So there's already an internal war going on in there that we're really not hearing about. Okay, Trump is a lot smarter this time than he was last time. Now, there's been a couple of boo-boos, and I'll say that. I tell you, I was really disappointed with Mike Waltz. Really disappointed with him and Hegseth. I never really was a big fan of Hegseth. Not saying anything against him. Probably a great guy. Be good to have a beer with. Probably most of them. I could have Hegseth and Waltz over to the house, or we'd go out on the deck and we would drink Yingling and probably had a great time. But Hegseth just doesn't bring. He's made some good decisions, but I just don't see the steady hand on the wheel there. Now, I could be wrong. He might prove me wrong. I hope so. But we will see. But Waltz, letting that person into that Signal chat, I mean, y'all know what Signal is, right? You think it was on purpose? No, it wasn't. It was a mistake. And that I said the day after it happened, he ought to be replaced. Or let me put it this way: it wouldn't surprise me if he were replaced, and I might go so far as to say he should be replaced. You can't have a national security advisor who has made that kind of mistake. As great as I think Waltz was, he's a good congressman, former Green Beret, the whole stick, man. Great guy, I'm sure. But he's NSA, National Security Advisor. You can't make those kinds of mistakes. And I read the headlines. Who knows whether or not it's true, um, but I called my contact in the White House. No, I didn't. I don't have a contact in the White House. And I read a headline on some place that said that Trump is upset with Waltz, and I wouldn't doubt it a bit. What do you think about that? Should he be replaced? I know people are going to say it was a mistake, not near what the Democrats do on purpose. Okay, well, I don't, hey, I hold my side to a higher standard. I really do. Well, we should, right? Sorry, I mean, I'd say to Mike, I'd say, Mike, you're a great guy. I'm sorry that it happened, but I just can't let you stay. It's you. What if something like that happens again? Can't do it. So anyway, yes, there is a civil war going on. You see, it's handled by the courts too. It's being fought in the courts. All these Doge discoveries. Isn't that great? Did any of you ever foresee this happening? I didn't. It's just been amazing to me. Everything that they've found and everything that they've been able to do. We will see where it goes. I might go buy a Tesla Cybertruck. I might just go rent a Tesla before I buy one, just so I can drive it around and see if anybody screws with me. I'd like that. Keep my camera. I'll get film. If I do it, I'll get tape. I'll show you. And I would just love that opportunity, wouldn't you, to kind of, interact with those people? So it's going. The Civil War is going to be legal and cyber. And that's what I would suggest you get ready for. This isn't a preparedness channel, so I'm not going to talk about preparedness. But, it's always smart to be ready, right? And that's the way it is. Just keep abreast of it, and we will see what happens. So anyway, it's good to be back, and I'd be interested to know what you are thinking about all this stuff. What have you thought about the last 2 months? What do you think? Has it been good? Has Trump done everything you'd hoped he could? Has he done more? He's done more than I thought. And a lot of that has to do with the good people he's got around. I think Rubio's been a real surprise. Bondi, yeah, she's, I'm still iffy on her. We will see. But don't get all twisted up in this. Well, they haven't let out the Epstein files. They haven't let out this. They haven't let out all of JFK and all. There could be reasons for that. And there could be good reasons for it. Okay? There could be good reasons. I'm not saying that there are, but there could be. So just, let's just kind of lay back and wait and see what happens, okay? Anyway, America needed a revival. I think America's getting a revival. Great to be here as a part of it, and I know you feel the same way, okay? Leave your comments. I look forward to reading them, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.